So, Bill, we get asked a lot how long it takes for an automation project or how long it takes to deliver some equipment. I thought maybe we could address a lot of those steps along the way. Now, you know a lot more about what happens during the project as our project lead. Um, but maybe I can address some of the items that happen even before we get the project in-house.
Sounds good.
So one of the first steps that happens in an automation project is a discovery call. So a company will reach out to us and ask if we can help them with their production problem. So we have this discovery process to go through, and then we'll talk about specifications, what the technical details about what they need. If that all goes well, and for me, I would work with the internal team, work with Bill and our engineers and other automation technicians and such in-house to make sure we feel we can be successful at the project and help the customer. If that's the case, then yeah, we build out a full proposal, and that uses our technical team as well to get all the details hashed out in the proposal. And depending on the size of the project, I mean, how long is our fastest proposal that we could put out?
I mean, from what you started to finish, maybe, 1 to 2 weeks, depending on how big the project is, right?
Right. And for really large projects, it could be months if there's a lot of back and forth that we need to sort out on technical details. So keep that in mind in your production launch conversations. And that's just to get to the point of having a proposal that's executable. From there, your company might have some internal processes, so purchasing and legal, and even the evaluation of if you have multiple proposals to evaluate. So you might have a couple of weeks of leadership needing to evaluate proposals, and maybe you yourself generating a presentation to show leadership the options that you have. Once a decision is made, then you've got purchasing, which will have a process to go through to get commercial alignment, and maybe even legal to make sure that purchasing terms align. That's a bit of a timeline wild card there. I'm usually the one to deal with such a commercial alignment, and it could be very easy. A client we've worked with before, it's already hashed out, it's done. New company, it could be just weeks, it could be months. For very large companies and very large projects, it can take quite some time. So you want to get those things hashed out earlier in the project or earlier in the timeline, so it doesn't hold up launch. But at that point, once a purchase order is in place, then we really get going, and that's where Bill's expertise really takes over here.
Yep. So yeah, once the project's been awarded, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have a kickoff meeting internally, and we're gonna generate any questions that are still that we still have for the customer, and we will then have a kickoff meeting with the customer, and part of that meeting will be to go over those questions. So once we share those questions with the customer, there could be some time of the customer having to gather that information. Maybe we need more sample parts that has to be sent. So there's a bit of upfront work that needs to be if we don't have everything needed to design the system. And then one of our milestones, or a few of our milestones, have to do with the design process. So we're going to do a conceptual design. We're going to have a meeting with the customer. They're going to buy off on that. They're going to approve that concept. Then we're going to finish the design. Then they'll approve the finished design. And that process can take some time from when we give the customer the concept or the finished design, or when we have a meeting with them, until they sign that approval document. We won't order anything until that has been signed off by the customer. Once that happens, then we start to order everything, like anything you buy, sometimes it's readily available, sometimes it takes some time. So we try to look ahead and order anything that's going to be a longer lead time, and we get that on order sooner. Sometimes, it might take several weeks or 2 or 3 months, maybe sometimes longer, depending on the part that we're putting on. And then we're also going to have a lot of custom fabricated items made. That takes some time. The frame of the machine usually takes quite a bit of time to get welded and machined, as well as the tabletop of that machine. Once everything is in-house, we have to build it, wire it. There's usually several hundred hours that goes into that with our technicians. And then we have programming on our floor that several weeks to program the machine, work out any bugs, make sure it's running well. Then the customer comes in, and once everything has been approved on our end with our team and the customer, then we can tear down the machine, certify the machine, or accept the machine on their floor, and at that point it's in production. But yeah, like Chris said, from the very start of when you're first looking at a project to when we deliver it and it's running on your floor can take quite a few months, if not years. If you're looking into it, you want to start as early as possible, and also look ahead at what might be some areas that's going to slow down the process.